Hey everyone, it's Davicab here, and Blizzard wants to fight toxicity in Overwatch. They have announced recently that they want to implement some new mechanics that should help them fight toxicity and just get rid of those really problematic players. We don't know what those mechanics are going to be, we can only speculate, but naturally the internet has been very talkative about what those could be, and everyone's expressing their opinions about what they should do to get rid of toxicity in Overwatch. And I thought I would throw in my 2 cents because I have a very different opinion about this than what most people have. So my brother actually, he works with endangered species of animals, and he has extensive animal training experience. And one thing that he and pretty much any other animal trainer will tell you is that positive reinforcement is far more effective, incredibly more effective than negative reinforcement. And what that means is positive reinforcement is when you reward good behavior. Like, oh, you won a game, good job, here's a lot of experience for you. Negative reinforcement is when you punish bad behavior. Like, oh, you're really toxic this game, so you have to sit out and wait 15 minutes before you can play the next game. Both can be used to encourage a certain type of behavior, but any animal trainer will tell you that positive reinforcement is far more effective than negative reinforcement. So every time I'm, online and people are talking about toxicity in the game and how to fix it, people tend to gravitate towards negative reinforcement, that is, punishing bad players. And I think that it's kind of tragic because people aren't really utilizing the full potential of positive reinforcement, which is instead of focusing so much on finding negative players and punishing them, doing the opposite, which is finding positive players and rewarding them. I mean, look at it this way. Overwatch is a game. And we, as fans of Overwatch, are all gamers. We like playing games. Blizzard could very easily gamify positivity. That is, turn positivity into its own little sub-game within Overwatch and reward players who do well at being positive. For example, let's take the end of the game cards, which I'm not really a super big fan of. I think that they're interesting, they're neat, but for the most part they're kind of pointless. Most people don't really vote on them, and they're just neat, but they don't really do anything. You just don't really have any incentive to vote. All they give you is bragging rights if you do get a lot of votes, so they're just kind of pointless. I think one thing that might be a really interesting alternative is if instead of showing, you got 4 gold medals or you've got X amount of seconds on the objective, you could instead have some sort of you show all the players on the game, and then everyone could vote on who they thought was pleasant to be with. Like, who was a pleasant player, who was positive, who was doing a good job, who was, supporting the team. And, there could be different categories for each. One could be positivity, who was just positive and being cheerful and being very cooperative. Another one could be team player, who was the person who switched when we really needed to switch and no one else was willing to do it. Maybe that person could get a vote in that category. There could be another category for just being a good player. Like, wow, that Genji really carried us. Good job, Genji. I want to, vote on you and give you 1 point. And from there, it's just simply a matter of rewarding the voting behavior and being voted on. Like, let's imagine every time you vote on a player, you get 5 experience or whatever. 1 experience, 5 experience, 10 experience. Brings you a little bit closer to your next loot box. And then you could further make it so that if you vote on the player that most other players vote on as well, then you get some sort of bonus experience. That way, you don't just, always vote on some random person because you just want the experience. You want to vote on the person who is the best on your team. So if you have a McCree and he's, just really positive, he's saying, come on guys, let's group up, we can do this. And at the end of the game, everyone's going to know that McCree was really positive. So most people are going to vote on the McCree. Then that way, if you vote on the McCree, if you agree with everyone else, you'll get that bonus experience. Same thing goes with a skilled player. Like I said, if the Genji is carrying the team, then by the end of the game that the Genji will have carried the team. The Genji was sort of the MVP of your group. So your allies are going to vote on Genji more than likely for being the MVP of the team. So, you're kind of encouraged to vote on Genji as well, rather than just voting on some random person because you don't really care. So that sort of really encourages, actually being objective rather than just being random. And then on the other side of things, you could reward players who get the most votes. Like, let's suppose every 10 votes you get, every 20 votes you get a loot box. That'd be awesome. That'd be super awesome. I would personally really love that. I think most people would love that. That would encourage people to be positive, because the more positive you are, the more votes you'll get. It would encourage people to be a team player, because the more willing you are to fill roles and switch to healer when no one else will switch to healer, then that will give you more votes. It'll encourage you to be, well, it won't encourage you to be competent, because everyone always wants to be competent anyways, but it will reward competence. If you are competent and you carried your teammates will want to, like, reward you for, good job. And then once you get enough votes, you get a loot box. That'd be super awesome. And I believe that would actually change player behavior. I mean, you don't really need me to tell you that that's just how games work. I mean, if you have a quest in Hearthstone or Here's the Storm, or like in Overwatch when they do the arcade mode and you've got those 3 loot boxes you could get, if you would rather do something else, if you would rather do competitive, and you find that every week you're over in arcade, trying to get those 3 free loot boxes, then that is that is you falling prey to positive reinforcement. Blizzard wants you to do something. Blizzard wants you to play arcade mode. They are rewarding you for playing arcade mode. So if you go every week to play arcade mode to get those 3 free loot boxes, then you've been tricked by the oldest trick in the book, which is positive reinforcement. And it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's typically good. It's like a win-win situation. Blizzard gets what they want. They get you to play arcade mode, which is what they want you to do, and then you get what you want, which is free loot boxes. So there's really like no one's hurt here, no one's suffering. And the same thing goes with this potential positive reinforcement and rewarding behavior that they could implement into the game. If they make it so that Blizzard just gives you free stuff, maybe like an exclusive skin, like maybe they could make it so that if you get 1,000 upvotes, 1,000 positive votes over the course of your career, you'll unlock some special skin that no one else will have. Like, I don't know, maybe a Mei skin, because Mei is really cheerful and bubbly, or a Tracer skin because she's really bubbly as well. Maybe that would be appropriate, where if you're just really positive, just really cheerful, you can unlock exclusive content that no one else can get to. And I don't know about you, but that would actually really encourage me to be good at the game. It would encourage me to say, come on guys, let's not worry about it. Let's group up, let's stick together, we can do this, because I would know that at least then there'd be a higher chance than normal that I'll get a vote, and that vote will mean something. It will mean I get more experience, I get a loot box, I get an exclusive skin, I get something, that there's some reward out of it. And the best thing about it is that my teammates benefit from this. You know what I mean? Like, Blizzard gets what they want, which is a more positive culture in the game. I get what I want, which is a reward at the end of the tunnel. And my teammates get what they want, which is a really cooperative and friendly teammate. So I don't know what Blizzard is going to do to fix toxicity. Maybe punishing players is effective. I don't really know. I'm not like a community manager or anything, so who knows. But I really wish that they would use the game mechanics, use the game mechanics that Overwatch already has to reward players, because we know that positive reinforcement works. So let me know what your thoughts. I'm actually really curious to know if you think this would be effective. If there was some sort of system like this is like a 2-part question. If there were cards at the end of the game and you had to vote on someone, and let's say you couldn't vote on yourself, and every time you voted on someone you got an XP bonus, like let's say 5 experience. If you voted on one of your friends, then you got slightly less experience, like let's say, I don't know, 3 or 2 experience. And if you voted on the person who most of your other teammates voted on as well, because you were more objective, you picked the person that the consensus agrees is the most positive person on your team, would that affect your behavior at the end of the game? Would you vote? Yes or no? Would you vote objectively? Would you like try to actually pick the most positive person, or would you just not care and just always pick your friends and just always just like vote randomly because you don't care? Or if like the discrepancy was good enough between voting objectively versus voting on your friends, would you actually vote objectively? I'm really curious to know. Secondly, if like let's address the other side of that. If you were a player who received votes, right? If your good behavior could be rewarded with something like loot boxes, would that affect your behavior? Would you enter a game and would you be more likely to be positive? Would you be more likely to fill roles? Would you be more encouraging if you knew that at the end of the game there would be a chance that you could get loot boxes or extra experience or some exclusive cosmetic gear because you're really positive? Personally, for me, yes, absolutely. It would encourage me to vote. It would encourage me to be really objective. It would also encourage me to be positive. it would it would absolutely affect my behavior. Blizzard would be training me like a dog. It's true. So let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. I don't know if I'm sort of the anomaly here because I don't know. To me, it's just free stuff. I want free stuff. I want loot boxes. I want experience. And if I can do something extra to get that faster, then I'll do it. So let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. And also, the more eyeballs we can get on this, then potentially the more likely Blizzard will see it. And maybe they can steal some of my ideas and implement them into the game because I would love to see something like this personally. So anyways, thanks for watching. Dabacab out.